All right, today we're going to tackle one of the most powerful concepts in modern tech, infrastructure as code. Seriously, if you're into DevOps, cloud engineering, or you just want to build things way more efficiently, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, so let's just kick things off with a huge question. What if I told you that you could build an entire complex cloud infrastructure? We're talking servers, databases, networks, the whole shebang, in less time than it takes to make a pot of coffee.
And I mean, with absolutely zero clicking around in some web console. You can forget about navigating through dozens of complicated UI pages. Instead, you're just going to write some simple, clean code to make it all happen. Yeah, no more of those tedious step-by-step checklists, and you can say goodbye to that sinking feeling when you realize you forgot to check box number 47 out of 50. Just clean, repeatable code. And maybe the best part of all, with no room for those tiny but oh so costly human errors that always seem to pop up at the worst possible time. Sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, welcome to the world of infrastructure as code. So how in the world did we get here? This isn't just some small improvement we're talking about. It's a complete revolution. It's a fundamental shift from what I like to call manual chaos into a brand new era of automated, predictable order. I mean, think about the old way, the traditional way. It was a painful process, right? Manually spinning up servers felt like you were trying to untangle this giant knot of configurations where just one wrong click could bring the whole thing crashing down. Now, look at the IAC way. It's this orderly, automated flow. It's fast, it's consistent, and it's built from the ground up to scale. So what is it exactly? Infrastructure as code, or IAC for short, is simply the practice of defining your infrastructure, your servers, databases, load balancers, you name it, using code. You write these configuration files, and with one single command, your entire environment is just created automatically. The absolute best way to get your head around this is to think of it as Git for infrastructure. It's that simple. If you understand using version control to track changes, collaborate with your team, and roll back mistakes in your app code, then you already get the core idea of IAC. We're just applying that same incredible power to the very foundation your code runs on. So, what does this actually get you in the real world? Well, first off, speed. Stuff that used to take a team days of manual work now takes minutes. Then there's consistency. Environments are identical every single time. This completely gets rid of those infuriating "well, it works on my machine" bugs. You also get version control, which means you can see exactly who changed what, when, and why, and you can roll it all back if something breaks. And let's not forget cost optimization. You can spin up massive resources for a quick test and then just tear them all down right after, so you're only paying for the seconds or minutes you actually use them. Okay, so that's the what and the why. Now let's get practical and talk about the how. We're going to put a spotlight on the undisputed industry standard for IAC, Terraform. Terraform is this amazing open source tool from a company called HashiCorp, and it lets you define and provision all your infrastructure using a really simple, human-readable language called HCL. That just stands for HashiCorp Configuration Language. And the workflow is just beautiful in its simplicity. First, you write the code that defines what you want. Then you run init to initialize the project, which downloads any plugins you need. Now, here's the most important step. You plan. Terraform shows you exactly what it's going to create, change, or even destroy before it does anything. This is a critical safety net. Once you look at that plan and you approve it, you just apply, and boom, Terraform builds everything for you. And this right here, this is Terraform's superpower. It's cloud agnostic. That means you can use the exact same workflow and the same principles to manage your infrastructure, whether it's on AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or dozens of others. It really is one tool to rule them all. But hey, Terraform isn't the only major player in this game. If your entire world revolves around Amazon Web Services, then you absolutely have to know about their native solution, CloudFormation. CloudFormation works with a few core concepts. You write your code in what are called templates, using either JSON or YAML. When you deploy that template, the whole group of resources it creates is called a stack. And just like Terraform's plan, a change set lets you preview all your changes before you commit to them. So when do you use which one? Well, here's a pretty simple rule of thumb. If you're working with multiple clouds or you even think you might be in the future, just start with Terraform. But if you are 100% all in on AWS and you need access to the latest and greatest features the very second they're released, CloudFormation is a fantastic choice. It's that classic trade-off, right? Broad flexibility versus deep native integration.
All right, so knowing the tools is one thing, but using them like a professional, that's a whole different level. Let's talk about the best practices that separate the beginners from the experts. To really level up your game, you need to internalize these rules. First, write modular code so you can reuse components instead of just copying and pasting. Use Git for everything. It's your ultimate safety net. Manage your state remotely. Now, state is just a file that tracks what your IAC tool has built in the real world. Keeping it in a remote, shared location is absolutely critical for team collaboration. Next, never hardcode secrets. Use a proper secrets manager. Automate everything with a CI/CD pipeline so changes are deployed consistently. And finally, yes, test your infrastructure code because it's just as critical as your application code. If you can master these, you are way ahead of the curve. And here is the real-world impact of all this. We're not talking about small, tiny improvements. A brand new testing or staging environment that used to take a team days of manual work and coordination can now be spun up automatically in just a few minutes. This is a total game changer for how fast a team can innovate and ship new features. And the benefits go way beyond just that initial setup. Think about disaster recovery. If an entire cloud region goes down, you don't panic. You just rerun your code and redeploy your entire infrastructure somewhere else. Or imagine handling a massive traffic spike on a launch day. IAC lets you automate your scaling with precision, so you can go from 2 servers to 200 and back down again, all without breaking a sweat. It's all about resilience and agility. So we've covered the what, the why, and the how of infrastructure as code, from the core concepts to the essential tools that make it all happen. The speed, the consistency, and the safety it provides aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. They are essential for modern software development. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Is your infrastructure ready to become code? Thanks for watching.